Hi friends, in the first part of the video related to maxima and minima, we understood how to determine the maximum and minimum value of a function using definition of the function. Now we will learn how to use calculus, that is differentiation, to determine the maximum and minimum value of the function. For this, first we will have to find out the points at which function will take maximum or minimum value, and then corresponding to those points we will find out the maximum or minimum value of function. So be ready with your pen and notebook to pen down the important points, and in later part of the video to solve questions with me. Now first we are coming to maximum value of function. If a function is assuming a maximum value at a point, then before this point, if we will draw tangent to y versus x curve, then the angle made by tangent with positive x-axis will be acute, and hence slope of tangent to the curve will be positive. Now at the point of maximum, the slope of tangent to the curve will become 0, and if we cross the point of maxima, then again if we will draw tangent to y versus x curve, then this time this tangent will be making an obtuse angle with the positive x-axis. It means slope of tangent to the curve will become negative. It means we can say slope of tangent to the curve will change its sign from positive to negative, and we know what is the general expression for slope of tangent to y versus x curve. General expression for slope of tangent to y versus x curve is differentiation of y with respect to x, that is dy by dx, and it can be written as f dash x. So if for a point say a, x is equal to a is this point which is the point of maxima, if for a point sine of f dash x, that is sine of dy by dx, changes from positive just before the point to negative just after the point, then we will say that the function will be having a maximum value at that point. So f dash x will change sign thus for a point of maxima f dash x, it means slope of tangent to y versus x curve will change its sign from positive to negative. It means for a point of maxima f dash x will be continuously decreasing, and we know that for a decreasing function, if a function fx is decreasing, then its differentiation must be less than 0. It means its differentiation should be negative. So this implies that for maxima f double dash x, f dash x is decreasing, means the differentiation of f dash x will be negative. So it should be less than 0. This implies f double dash x should be negative for the points of maxima. Now, how to find those points? These points for which function is maximum or minimum can be found by putting dy by dx is equal to 0. So dy by dx is equal to 0 will give all turning points. Turning points means the points at which function is either maximum or minimum. But sometimes it may happen that dy by dx is 0, but function is neither maximum nor minimum. That is d square y upon dx square, yani f double dash x is neither negative nor positive. Such points are called points of inflection. Now when we come to the minimum value of function, then for minimum value of function, say the function has minimum value again at x is equal to a, then if we will draw tangent to the curve before a, then slope of the tangent will be negative, because this time the tangent will make an obtuse angle with positive x-axis. At a, dy by dx, that is slope of tangent to the curve, will be 0, and after point A, if we will draw tangent to the curve, then tangent will make an acute angle with positive x-axis, that is slope of tangent to the curve will be positive. It means for point of minima, slope of tangent to the curve will change sign from negative to positive. It means slope of tangent to y versus x curve will be continuously increasing. And again we know that the slope of tangent to the curve is given by f dash x, as the slope of tangent to the y versus x curve changes its sign from negative to positive. We can say that the slope of tangent to the curve, that is f dash x, is continuously increasing at the point of minima. So for point of minima, f dash x being always increasing, the derivative of f dash x should be positive, because for an increasing function its differentiation should be positive, that is greater than 0. So for x is equal to a to be the point of minima, value of f double dash x at point A, we may also write f double dash a, that should be greater than 0. Now we will understand how to find the points of maxima and minima and the value of function at those points using calculus. To determine points of maxima and minima for a given function, first we will differentiate the function to find the slope of tangent to the curve, and we will put this dy by dx equal to 0 to get all the turning points in the domain of the function. After finding out all the turning points, we will get the positions of all local maxima or local minima. Now we will find out which of these are points of local maxima and which one are points of local minima. For that, what will we do? We will differentiate the function again to get f double dash x. Now we will put all the values of x obtained from f dash x is equal to 0 to check the sign of f double dash x. If for the values of x obtained from dy by dx is equal to 0, f double dash x comes negative, then for those values of x, function will be having a maximum value. And if f double dash x for some other points comes out to be positive, then for those values of x, function will have a minimum value. Putting those values of x in function, we can find out the maximum or minimum values of function. To understand this, we are taking an example. Say in it the function fx is given as sin x minus cos x, and we have to find out the points of local maxima and local minima. Then we have to find the value of function at the points of local maxima and local minima when the value of x is changing between 0 to 2 pi. Now first we will find out the points of local maxima or local minima. For that we will have to differentiate the function. It means we will have to find out dy by dx, that is f dash x, and f dash x will be dy by dx of sin x minus dy by dx of cos x. dy by dx of sin x will be cos x minus dy by dx of cos x will be minus sin x. So it will become cos x plus sin x. Now we will get the positions of local maxima and local minima by putting f dash x is equal to 0, because f dash x is equal to 0 will give us those points on the curve for which slope of tangent to the curve will be 0, and slope of tangent to the curve is 0 at only turning points. So we will get the positions of turning points by putting f dash x is equal to 0. This implies f dash x is equal to 0 gives cos x plus sin x is equal to 0, and this will gives sin x is equal to minus cos x or sin x upon cos x is equal to minus 1, and this means tan x is equal to minus 1, means minus tan pi by 4. Now we know that tan theta is negative in second and in fourth quadrant. So the value of x must lie in second and in fourth quadrant, and for second quadrant it will be tan pi minus pi by 4, because tan 180 minus theta is minus tan theta, and for fourth quadrant it will be tan 360 minus pi by 4. It means 2 pi minus pi by 4, because tan 360 minus theta will be minus tan theta. So this implies the values of x for which fx will be maximum or minimum will be pi minus pi by 4, that is 4 pi minus pi, 3 pi by 4, and 4 to the 8 pi minus pi, 7 pi by 4. These are the values of x for which the function will be either maximum or minimum. Now we will have to test for which value of x fx is maximum and for which value of x it is minimum. And then for that we will have to find out the second derivative of fx, and second derivative of fx, that is f double dash x, will be differentiation of f dash x, that is differentiation of cos x plus sin x, and that will be d by dx of cos x plus d by dx of sin x. D by dx of cos x will be minus sin x plus d by dx of sin x will be cos x. So the second derivative of function is minus sin x plus cos x. Now we will find out the sine of f double dash x for these values of x obtained by putting f dash x is equal to 0. Say first we are finding the sine of f double dash x for x is equal to 3 pi by 4. F double dash 3 pi by 4 is equal to minus sine 3 pi by 4 plus cos 3 pi by 4. And already we know 3 pi by 4 is pi minus pi by 4. So we can write minus sine pi minus pi by 4 plus cos pi minus pi by 4. Pi minus pi by 4 means second quadrant. In second quadrant sine is positive but cos is negative. So this will give minus sine 180 minus theta is sine theta. So sine pi by 4 plus cos 180 minus theta minus cos theta. So minus cos pi by 4. Sine pi by 4 means sine 45 degree, and sine 45 degree is 1 by root 2. So minus 1 by root 2 minus 1 by root 2, and this will give you minus 2 by root 2, that is minus root 2. And this shows that f double dash 3 pi by 4 is less than 0. Less than 0 means negative. And if f double dash 3 pi by 4 is negative, then the value of fx at x is equal to 3 pi by 4 will be maximum. So this implies fx is maximum at x is equal to 3 pi by 4, and that maximum value of function can be obtained by putting x is equal to 3 pi by 4 in the function. So f 3 pi by 4 is equal to maximum value of function is equal to sine 3 pi by 4 minus cos 3 pi by 4, and sine 3 pi by 4 already we calculated is 1 by root 2. So 1 by root 2 minus 1 by root 2, because cos 3 pi by 4 we obtained was minus 1 by root 2. So it will become minus minus plus, so 2 by root 2, and 2 by root 2 will give root 2. So the maximum value of function will be at x is equal to 3 pi by 4, and that maximum value will be root 2. Now we will check whether the function will be maximum or minimum at 7 pi by 4. So f double dash 7 pi by 4, we will find out the sine of f double dash x at x is equal to 7 pi by 4. So f double dash 7 pi by 4 will be minus sine 7 pi by 4 plus cos 7 pi by 4, because f double dash x is minus sin x plus cos x. So this is equal to, already we know 7 pi by 4 is 2 pi minus pi by 4, and 2 pi minus pi by 4 means 360 minus theta. So it means minus sine 360 degree minus pi by 4 plus cos 360 degree minus pi by 4. Sine 360 minus theta lying in fourth quadrant will be negative. So it will give minus sine, it is the case of 360 degree, so there will be no interchange. So it will give sine minus sine pi by 4. Now plus cos 360 minus theta will lie in fourth quadrant, and in fourth quadrant cos will be positive, so it will give cos pi by 4. This is equal to minus plus 1 by root 2, and cos pi by 4 means cos 45 is again 1 by root 2, so 1 by root 2, and this will give 2 by root 2, that means positive root 2, and positive means greater than 0. So f double dash 7 pi by 4 is greater than 0, and when second derivative of function at any value of x is greater than 0, then for that value of x the function will be minimum. So for 7 pi by 4, so for 7 pi by 4 fx is minimum, and hence minimum value of function will be f 7 pi by 4, and if it is minimum value then it will be sine 7 pi by 4 minus cos 7 pi by 4, and 7 pi by 4 already we know 360 minus pi by 4, so it will be sine 7 pi by 4 means sine 360 minus pi by 4. Already we have calculated the value of sine 7 pi by 4. Sine 7 pi by 4 is minus 1 by root 2, because lying in fourth quadrant sine will be negative, while cos 7 pi by 4 will be positive, and hence it will be minus cos 7 pi by 4 1 by root 2, and this means minus 2 by root 2, that is minus root 2, and this will be the minimum value of function. Thus we can use calculus to determine the positions at which function will have maximum and minimum value in its domain, and also then we can find out those minimum and maximum values of function. Now we are taking two more questions to understand the use of calculus for determining maximum and minimum values of a function. Say in the first question it is given, find two positive numbers x and y such that their sum is 35 and product x square y raised to the power 5 is maximum. Question itself has given that the numbers are x and y and their sum is 35. So first x plus y is 35. Now their product x square y 5. Say the product is represented by p. P is x square y 5. Now either we will have to write x in terms of y or y in terms of x, because x and y both are variables. So we will eliminate one of the two variables in the expression for product, and perhaps it would be easier to eliminate x, because for x we will be requiring only square. So we will eliminate x. P is equal to x will be obtained from first, and that will be 35 minus y. So 35 minus y whole square into y to the power 5. Now the value of p is depending only upon the value of y. So we will find out that value of y for which p is maximum, and for that first we will have to find out the turning points at which p can have maximum or minimum value, and for those turning points we will have to differentiate p with respect to y, because this time p is a function of y. So if we will differentiate, then we will get dp by dy is equal to, we can apply the product rule, 2 35 minus y raised to the power 2 minus 1 and into differentiation of 35 minus y, and that will be 0 minus 1 into y to the power 5 as such, plus 35 minus y whole square into differentiation of y to the power 5 y to the power. Now taking 35 minus y and y to the power 4 as common, we will get y to the power 4 35 minus y into, here we will get minus 2y, plus here we will be left 5 and 35 minus y, and this will give us dp by dy equal to y to the power 4 into 35 minus y and into 5 into 35 will be 175 minus 5y minus 2y, that is minus 7y. Now we will find out the turning points, that is the points for which p will either be maximum or minimum, and we know those points will be obtained by putting dp by dy is equal to 0. So dp by dy is equal to 0 implies either y to the power 4 is 0, that is y to the power 4 is equal to 0, or 35 minus y is 0, 35 minus y is equal to 0, or 175 minus 7y is 0. Because if dp by dy is 0, then at least one of these three should be 0. So 175 minus 7y is 0. This gives y is equal to 0. This gives y is equal to 35, and the last one gives y is equal to 175 by 7. This is equal to 25. Since y can neither be 0 nor 35, because we had to split 35 into two positive values, so y is neither 0 nor 35, so the only possibility is y is equal to 25. Now we will determine whether the product P is maximum at y is equal to 25 or not, and for that we will have to find out the sign of second derivative of P at y is equal to 25. If the second derivative of P at y is equal to 25 will be positive, then P will be minimum at y is equal to 25, and if the second derivative of p at y is equal to 25 will be negative, then p will be maximum at y is equal to 25. So first we will determine d square p upon dy square, and for that I am writing it as 35 y to the power 4 minus y to the power 5. It means it will be d by dy of 35 y to the power 4 minus y to the power 5 multiplied by 175 minus 7y. And to determine this differentiation, we will use product rule. This will give differentiation of this means 35 into 4y cube minus differentiation of this 5y की power 4, and the second term as such 175 minus 7y, plus this time the first term as such 35 y to the power 4 minus y to the power 5 as such, and differentiation of this will be 175 0 minus 7, and differentiation of y with respect to y will be 1, so minus 7. Now we will find out the value of d square p upon dy square. It means second derivative of p with respect to y will be found at y is equal to 25, and if we will put y is equal to 25, then 7 into 25 being 175, this first term will become 0, and minus 7 into, if we will take y to the power 4 as common, it will give 25 raised to the power 4 into 35 minus y. 35 minus y means 35 minus 25, and this will give minus 7 into 10 into 25 raised to the power 4, and this suggests that d square p upon dy square at y is equal to 25 is negative, and this implies for y is equal to 25 p is maximum, and if p is maximum for y is equal to 25, then what is the corresponding value of x? From this equation we can find out x. X will be 35 minus y, that is 35 minus 25, that is 10. Thus the values of x and y are 10 and 25, such that the product p, that is x square into y to the power 5, is maximum. Now we are taking the second example. In this second example, show that the closed right circular cylinder of given surface area. Given surface area means surface area is constant, and surface area say is S, so S will be treated as constant, and maximum volume later on we will see is such that its height is equal to diameter of its base. Say h is height and r radius of right circular cylinder. Then we know that its surface area S will be area of bottom face pi r square, area of top face pi r square, and area of curved surface 2 pi r h. It means 2 pi r square plus 2 pi r h. Since S is given, yani S is constant. There are two variables in this relation, R and H. But for differentiation, we will be requiring only one variable. So either we will have to eliminate H or R. By seeing this expression, we find that the value of H can be easily calculated as compared to value of R, because this expression is quadratic in R. So we will eliminate H by determining its value in terms of R, and this will be H is equal to S minus 2 pi R square divided by 2 pi R. It is the value of H. Now we will find out the volume of right circular cylinder, and we know that the volume of right circular cylinder V will be pi R square H. Value of H can be used from 1, so we will get pi R square, and H is S minus 2 pi R square upon 2 pi R. Pi will get cancelled with pi, R will cancel 1 power of R square, so we will get S into R by 2 minus R into 2 pi R square upon 2. It means pi R cube. This will be the value of volume in terms of radius. Now, according to question, we have to maximize the volume, because in question volume is given as maximum. Since volume is a function of R, so first we will find out the values of R for which volume will either be maximum or minimum, and we know that those points can be obtained by putting the differentiation of y with respect to R as 0. So we will first find dV by dr. dV by dr will be S by 2, differentiation of R with respect to R will be 1, minus 3 pi R square, and this implies dV by dr is equal to 0, means S by 2 minus 3 pi R square is equal to 0, and this implies S is equal to 6 pi R square, or you may say R is equal to under root of S upon 6 pi. So it will be the value of R for which volume of cylinder will either be maximum or minimum. Now we will find out whether the volume of cylinder is maximum or minimum for this value of R, and for that we will have to find out the second derivative of volume, and then on putting R is equal to under root S upon 6 pi, we will find out the sign of second derivative of volume. So second derivative of volume, that is d square V upon dr square, will be d by dr of S by 2 minus 3 pi R square. This is equal to differentiation of S by 2 will be 0, because S is constant, minus 3 pi into differentiation of R square will be 2R, and this is minus 6 pi R, and R, that is radius of cylinder, can never be negative, so minus 6 pi R means d square V upon dr square will always be negative. Negative means less than 0, and if d square V upon dr square is negative, then this implies volume is maximum for R is equal to under root S upon 6 pi, that is for S is equal to 6 pi r square. Now for this value of S, we will find out the value of H. So for V to be maximum, H is equal to S minus 2 pi r square, and for maximum volume R is under root S upon 6 pi, or S is 6 pi r square. So 6 pi r square will be S minus 2 pi r square upon 2 pi r, and this will be 4 pi r square divided by 2 pi r, and this will be 2r. It means H is equal to 2r equal to diameter of cylinder, and it shows that when volume of a cylinder of given surface area will be maximum, then its height will be equal to the diameter of its base.